Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Nams, and this is my Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate Vita versus 3DS comparison. So this will primarily be a graphics comparison, not a gameplay comparison, because I haven't played much, but we'll take it as it goes. So right from the bat, you can see that the 3DS version has lower textures than the Vita version, just lower res textures. They don't look as detailed or whatever. But as you're about to see here, it runs perfectly fine, super smooth, has all the gameplay, makes no gameplay compromises at all. All the animations are intact, the physics are intact. There's no areas that are left out, and all the effects and everything are still there. So that's great. As you can see, Catwoman's going to be walking here in the 3DS version, and it's going to be the exact same in the Vita version. So we're going to take a closer look at the textures I mentioned before, because that's primarily the main difference between the two. So we're going to get this a nice full screen view of it here on the PS Vita. You can see how detailed Batman is here. All his armor and everything. And now let's take a look on 3DS. That's what he looks like there. So it's not just a resolution difference. There is texture differences. They're less detailed and whatnot. But, as I said, the gameplay is the same. So we're going to get moving here. Every physics-based instance, like you see the letters falling there on the royal sign, they fall just the same exactly on 3DS and Vita. The cape moves exactly the same on Batman's cape, rather. There are no control differences. They both control perfectly, except for detective mode, which is controlled differently between Vita and 3DS, which we'll talk about later. But for the most part, they're exactly the same. So you're going to see another texture difference, a floor texture. So as Batman climbs into this little tunnel, look at the floor. First on 3DS, then on Vita. So he's going to crawl through the floor. Looks like standard PS2 floor. On Vita here, see that nice little sheen on the floor there? Those are the main difference between the game. Just like little extra coats of paint on top of it. So I'll let the Vita catch up a bit here. Actually, I'll go a little bit ahead. The 3DS version also loads ever so slightly faster. I don't know why, but it's like about a second and a half or so, but it's nothing deal breaking. Controls, crouching, grappling, running, everything's exactly the same. So detective mode. On Vita, you get it by touching the screen, and it brings up detective mode. On 3DS, you get it by touching the bottom touch screen and using the analog stick to move the cursor. While on Vita, it's your finger that is the cursor. I like both of them the same. I haven't run into any problems. I thought I would like the 3DS one better because on Vita, I thought you'd be getting in the way of what you're seeing, but you really don't. Like, it's actually a little above your finger, so you can see what you're doing, and it works fine. So here you can see how the animations are exactly the same, but the texture work is different everywhere. On the bricks on the wall, on Batman's armor, Catwoman, everything. You can see a lot more aliasing on the 3DS version. And here you're going to get actually a pretty good look at Batman in both versions. The armor is much more detailed on Vita. I think pretty soon I'm going to get into a pretty big brawl on both, so it's going to pretty much show that the gameplay and the controls and everything is functionally identical.
Stay sharp and keep your eyes up.
Let's kick the far guy over here. The guy with the weapon. That's something you should be doing first. So yeah, no slowdown, no frame rate issues, nothing on the 3DS version. It's, runs great. And I'm not going to talk too much about the gameplay. But I will say that so far, at least from the little bit I've played, I've only played a little bit more than what you're seeing here. It does pretty well at being different from the console version. Like it's a different game. It's obviously more like akin to like a Castlevania or Metroidvania type game. But the combat does, it feels like the console games. And it is fun, so far anyway. Finish that up on 3DS. And I'm just about to finish up on Vita over here. So yeah, I'll just be doing up until the Catwoman boss fight. That's as far as I'll go. I want to avoid spoilers for people who want to pick it up. And I know the Catwoman boss fight has been shown off in some gameplay demos and stuff like that, so I didn't want to spoil too much for you guys if you plan on picking it up. Also, the rest of the game doesn't seem so, maybe linear is the wrong word, but on rails. You tend to have a better, more ways of doing things, of approaching situations in, like, after this initial opening sequence. This is the beginning of the game, so it just, it's really very much on rails.
Yes, like meow. These men are heavily armed, wanting to make sure I'm not seen.
So as you can see, the controls are pretty much exactly the same.
If I make it through tonight, maybe
here on 3DS, I'm going to press L1 and I think X to take him out silently after I kick him. I'm about to do the same on Vita. Gonna drop over, knock him down. L1 and triangle takes him out silently, and I'm gonna get back up there. We're actually gonna see I borked the attempt on Vita over here. I actually kicked the guy, but I didn't get the takedown, whereas I did on 3DS at the bottom. Partly because I had practiced. This is actually on Vita. It's one of my first runs. So here I was kind of freaking out. No. But it all worked out in the end. So during gameplay, character mouths don't seem to move both on Vita and 3DS. On 3DS, they definitely didn't move when Catwoman called me over here. Look on Vita. Let's see if it moves. No, her mouth doesn't move. So that is a little disappointing, but not surprising. That's okay. But yeah, as you saw there, Catwoman just kicked out a barrel under those guys. Physics are actually pretty neat. What they definitely could have done better is, at least in the Vita version, was maybe add some more real-time lighting, some effects and stuff like that, because what it feels like is that the Vita version is just a cleaner, crisper version of what the game should look like. So basically, like, people who are used to seeing PC versions of console games, basically the Vita version looks like the PC version of what, if this was a console game, and the 3DS version would be the console version. Okay, lower res textures and no anti-aliasing and stuff like that. But it's still, again, the gameplay is pitch perfect. There's no slowdown. Plays great. Sounds great. No glitches from as far as I can see in both versions. The rain looks pretty much the same in both versions too.
That's what you'll learn about me. I never stop.
What if I offered you half of what they're paying me to
Also, the
let
animated
go?
cutscenes are the same as well.
Try.
2/3? Come on. There's gotta be worse people in this town you could be chasing.
I'll get to them. Right now I'm keeping my eyes in front of me.
Well, those eyes are gonna be watching my back, because this is where I get off. Bye-bye.
So let's catch up to Catwoman here on Vita. I'm already fighting her on 3DS.
Alright, so how do I upload this again?
This ends here.
So yeah, I'm not going to do too much talk about the gameplay itself.
Because chances are,
But yeah, so for those of you who have a 3DS and only a 3DS and really want the game, but are worried about how it performs, don't be worried. Like, it's performing super, super well. There's no slowdown. There's no frame rate problems. It works really, really well, and I wouldn't be too worried about that. if you have both and you really, you want what you feel is like the best version. So far to me, they're exactly the same minus the graphics. So if that holds up true later on, then probably get the Vita version. But, if you only have a 3DS, then go for it. So anyway, that's it. I'll definitely be reviewing this game much later on and once I finish it. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.